An apple doesn't get rotten at a go or at a... I won't say this regime is the best. All these politicians that we're fighting for, and they give us peace. Just the earlier we wake up and see that religion and tribalism are two divisive factors that tribalism and religion to decide for us. As another one should know that that position is both a privilege and a responsibility. It's basically a cumulative result of our actions, our decisions, our choices over the last 12 years. An apple doesn't get rotten at a go or at a glance. Well, no, it's a process, a gradual process. It's a process that starts with a mouth, just a decay or a dent on it, and then before you know it, the oxidation process takes place, and before you know it, the whole apple gets bad, right? So that's what has happened in Nigeria. I won't say this regime is the best or is the worst, no, because like I said before, it's a cumulative result of our choices over the years till now. It still baffles me that, it's really funny, I would say, that I watched the news. I heard about Dangote, sorry. I heard about Dangote, building his private refinery, which is, I must say, one of the biggest in Africa, one of the best in the world. But it's disheartening that a country like Nigeria doesn't have a functioning refinery, a functioning national refinery, but an individual could achieve it, while a whole country like Nigeria could not achieve it. It says a lot about the state of our nation. It says a lot about the result of the cumulative choices that we've made over the years, right? It says a lot, really. It says a lot. I saw the news. I kind of followed through the process of the building, the inauguration, and the start off, started dispensing fuel, the back and forth with the federal government and all that. It led me to the point today I want to actually talk about. You see, monopoly, right? Monopoly is one of the wrongest things. Like, it's like a disease, a cancer in economics, right? When a market is monopolized by one person, like the case is right now in Nigeria, because obviously I feel like that's the government has keyed into it, right? Because if they have not keyed into it, I don't see any reason why the Port Harcourt refinery hasn't been maintained or hasn't been revamped as they have been promising us. I don't see why we can't have our own refineries while we are one of the major crude oil exporters in Africa and in the continent. Seriously, I don't see why. And I don't see why the federal government will now support wholly the monopolization of the market. I'm not saying Dangote refineries is doing something wrong, but in a sense, they're not doing something wrong, because wrong is defined by the laws of the land, right? If the laws of the land allows you to do a certain act or, carry out a certain business in a certain way, you won't say you are doing something wrong because the laws of the land support you. But on the grand scale of things, you see that there's basically monopoly of the gas or energy market right now, right? There's no other way right now of getting fuel and all that if not from that refinery. And it baffles me that many people are saying, he's one of us now, it's not ours, it's our refinery. No, it's not our refinery. I have to just state it clearly that it's not a refinery, right? It is not, and it will never be our refinery. It's a private owned refinery. It's just like a company. It's just like you saying that MTN is Nigerians owned because it has its headquarters here in Nigeria. Or, for example, you saying if they bring Chicken Republic's headquarters to Nigeria, it becomes Nigerian property. No, it's a franchise. That they build their business here doesn't mean that we own them or they are ours or they work for us. The truth is that he will first think about his gain and profit. That's the problem. That's why private business, the monopolization is so bad, because he will first of all think of the well-being of his business and his pocket before thinking about the well-being of the masses. I will leave it at that point, so that you can think about it. I believe with the hardship and everything that we experienced, we should have learnt our lessons by now, so that we can make better choices when the next election comes up, right? Because there are two things that have kept us where we are today. It's not corruption. Corruption is the least among them. I will still keep saying it, right? Religion and tribalism. It has not gotten us very far. It is what has brought us to this point today. I don't know if you have noticed that all these politicians that we are fighting for, and they give us peanuts from what we are supposed to actually be enjoying. Just like somebody gets to your house, enters your kitchen. The person got to your kitchen, right, by your own volition, yes. But the person now gets there and the person is dishing out food to you, the owner of the house. The person didn't contribute to it. The person didn't cook it. The person is now dishing out food for you and telling you that this is the portion that you are going to eat, and you're happy about it. That's the perfect painting of the Nigerian scenario right now. We celebrate crumbs that these politicians give us. We fight ourselves for the little crumbs that these politicians give us or spray on us in the name of he's my brother, tribalism. I don't know. I'll just ask you these three questions, right? Is there any place that the Igbo man buys bread cheaper? Is there any place the Yoruba man buys fuel less than 1,200 that it is right now? Or is there any place where the northerner will get into the mass transit and then tell them that I can't pay the thief for 5,000 now, what I have is 15 now, because I'm a northerner, you people should accept it. That's the way it is. And actually, they carry him along. Is it possible? I doubt it. So the earlier we wake up and see that religion and tribalism are two divisive factors that the elite use to divide us and keep us at bay, the better for us. I don't know whether it was an article that I was reading or a discussion that I was having with somebody, but I think the elder brother position kind of came up in the conversation, I don't know, but I just saw it in my notes and I said, okay, let's talk about it. Now, why is it that the other ones don't get to enjoy, have that freedom, do things that they want and all that? That's where you have to understand that being an elderly one, right, is both a privilege, first of all, is a privilege, right? And it is also a point of responsibility, because you being an elder one is just like you have the privilege to do a lot of things, a lot of positive things, I guess. You have more freedom, you have more exposure, you have more authority, but it also comes with responsibility, as any authority, any privilege has. Because any privilege given to you has responsibilities attached to it. It is both a privilege and a place of responsibility. A place of responsibility in the sense that all the actions, right, you take as an elder one is emulated by the younger one. Let's say, for example, let me use a very practical example, right? The family of 8 people, right? a family of 8. Now, the elder one decides to go into rough life. What do I mean by rough life? Like doing things, basically living the wild life, right? Yeah, that's the right word. Being wild, in quotes. Partying, you womanize, alcoholism, name it, to do drugs, steal, do all those things. It's only a matter of time, I would say, before it will have a ripple effect and it will wear off on all your junior ones. Those people are following at the back. So there's this tendency that when you do something, there's a very big chance that your junior ones are really watching, and they will learn from it, and they might even apply it better than you. So bearing that in mind, I think it would be very selfish to abuse the privilege that was given to you by nature to be the first, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do these things and all that, but there should be coordination, there should be decorum. Maybe when you're in Rome, you can behave like Romans, right? But when you're in Israel, when you're at home, there are some things you shouldn't do, right? Those things that you won't want your junior ones to actually assimilate or do, you shouldn't do them in their presence. You should do them in the environment where they can actually get in contact with you doing those things, right? It's a privilege and it comes with responsibilities. With that being said, I think I've answered your question. Yeah, I've answered the question why other ones seem not to, indulge in all the vices and just being wild. The privilege that they have actually doesn't cover them being wild. They can't be wild. They don't have that choice. As another one, you are just like a mirror, right? That you wants to look through, to reflect, to know how to go about in their own business. If you are somebody that smokes, it's only a matter of time. Your junior wants to start smoking it. Yes, it will take a lot of discipline and personal choice not to. But under normal circumstances, it's only a matter of time before they join you. So I was scrolling down on social media. I saw a post somebody made. Why is it that you see a man that is 30 plus and he's not married and he's not considering marriage yet? Why? Is it that there are no good men out there again, or they are shying away from responsibilities and all that? It made me come to a conclusion, and it made me actually think, right? I had to sit down and think, reflect on what I read. I think the best answer to that question is two things. The financial situation or the financial picture, right, that we have in 2024 is nothing, nothing compared to the financial picture that we had 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, just to be recent, right? They are so far apart that they don't even have anything in common. Things that were cheap are now so expensive. Basically, when you have to get married as a man, the society has made it so that when you get married, you have to take care of your wife and whatever number of children you are going to have. And additional to it, in an African setting or an African home, in addition to you taking care of your wife and your home in general, you may be expected to take care of the extended family. You understand? The siblings, the mom, the cousins, the nieces, by extension, right? So it won't be fair for one right now, looking at the economy, right? And then apart from that, I said two things, right? The economy, the state of the economy, and then you also look at the state of the relationship market per se, right? The kind of ladies that are being groomed. I don't know who is grooming them. I don't know who is training these kids or these ladies, sorry. But in terms of behavior, in terms of mindset, in terms of attitude, in terms of spiritual alertness, a lot of things, in terms of education, a lot of things has changed in the relationship dynamics, right? A lot of things have changed. What used to be normal is now looked upon now as abnormal. Basically, there has been like a complete, rollover, kind of everything is now upside down. Yeah, if I'm use that word, everything is now basically upside down in the relationship market. For example, women have now become so empowered. It's a good thing that they're empowered, right? But it's not right that women have become so empowered that they can earn for themselves, they can do a lot for themselves, but they still expect men to act the same way they would have acted if they couldn't do those things. Because a typical woman in the 90s, 80s was basically a housewife, right? Just maybe doing a little bit of business to support the family, you know, really committed to the relationship and marriage, you understand, taking care of the children, keeping the house clean and organized. Being the man's peace was their job, their passion, their dream. But right now, we have basically career women that are not homely. They don't know how to train kids. Because when I'm talking about training kids, I'm not talking about you growing kids. There's a big difference between you growing a child and grooming a child. I think that's where many people are bottling it from. Grooming involves you shaping this child's behavior, shaping the child mindset, shaping the child's attitude, outlook of life, morals, all those things, right? While growing a child is just you all about you feeding the child right and all that, giving the child what he or she needs. And I think that parents now have lost it, and I think that it's a ripple effect of it that we are seeing now as ladies and the Gen Zs that we have right now, basically. They have lost it, that in the sense that they focus more on growing the child than grooming the child, which they have lost that balance. Basically, there's supposed to be a balance between you growing a child and actually you grooming that child. Grooming is more important. In as much as growing the child is very important, grooming is very, very, very important in the long term. So the typical lady now doesn't know how to groom, only knows how to grow. That's if by chance, most of them don't even know how to grow, right? They are not homely, they don't know how to groom a child, they are career driven. Being career driven is not a bad thing, right? But it won't be fair that you don't perform the duties or the action, the activities that a typical 80s women, 90s women, 17 women will have carried out or partaken, you understand, or done. We don't do those things, but we expect to get the same treatment, right? Like as if you are doing those things. It's just like demanding that you have something you don't deserve. That's it. Demanding that you have something that you don't deserve. So men have looked at the relationship market, they have looked at the economy. It's not really favorable, because as a man, nobody is really coming to save you, right? Nobody. That's just a fact that you have to face. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody cares about you. Just basically, how do I put it? The world is all about what they can get from you as a man. The only woman that will actually maybe 70%, 80-ish is your mom. Even your own blood sister won't love you that much. It's only your mom that big might love you up to that extent. So for the most part of it, the most part of your life, you will only be considered or loved for what you can offer. Bottom line, whether you want to accept it or not, whether you feel like it's wrong or right, that's just the way it is. It's all about what can you offer, what can you give the world, what can you provide as a man. That's what keeps you. That's what gives you that status. That's what gives you that authority, right? As a man. So, that being said, right now, if I'm to be a man that is in his 30, like maybe like if I'm 35, right? Looking at the economy right now, I would say 60 to 70% of men in that age bracket are not really yet financially secured enough to actually get married. You understand? Yeah, they can date, they might, yes, but they are not ready for marriage. Because marriage comes with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of action, a lot of activities, a lot of adjustment to be made and all that. You know, back in, I think that was 2019, yeah, I guess, one of my, matured friends, yeah, was married, was complaining to me about the formula that he was buying for the child. You understand? I could remember vividly. He was telling me that that formula was expensive. You buy something almost 20,000 naira, and then the child will reject it, and he has to go and buy another one. That he has bought like 3 now, and the child is rejecting it. That in his own days, was it not part that they were drinking? I laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed so hard. So it kind of gives you a picture, right? So if back then it was that much, guess how much it is now? It's going to be triple or 4 times the price because of the inflation rate and all that. So marriage right now is not a very attractive prospect per se for a man, right? In his 30s. A man that is not financially secure. A man that is not ready to take that chance, basically. Because, like it or not, marriage doesn't really benefit a man that much. I will say it any day, anytime. It doesn't benefit you that much. Most men get married for the status of it, or for the feel of it, or for the prestige or the security that it gives you, right? Maybe you have somebody you are calling yours, right, and all that, somebody that respects you, that is loyal to you and all that, which most times you don't even get from the ladies that we have now. My one set on relationship is basically get into it. As much as it's good to connect with people, right, you should take your time to build yourself up first as an individual, right? Make yourself better. My slogan is do unto others what I want them to do unto me. Basically, if I expect my partner to be truthful, honest, and all other qualities, good qualities that I want, I must first make sure that I'm all those things and more before I demand them from my partner. So I think if we all imbibe or take up this approach, we have more successful relationship. We enjoy it more, and then if we make better choices, we enjoy life more. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is, one, we should make better choices. We should not let tribalism and religion to decide for us. Secondly, as another one, should know that that position is both a privilege and a responsibility, right? All your actions have effects, and they don't only affect you as an individual, they affect the whole family as a collective unit. Then thirdly, right, as a woman, you shouldn't blame a man, right? And as a man, you shouldn't pressure yourself because you are in your 30s, you're supposed to get married, don't pressure yourself, right? Because you can't be comparing yourself with a standard that was made when a lot of factors were still not against the men, but now a lot of factors are against you as a man. So don't pressure yourself, right? Don't pressure yourself at all. And then lastly, you should be what you demand. What do you want to see in your partner? Be that and more before you demand it from your partner. I think I'll stop my rant here tonight, and I believe we'll talk more. There's a lot to talk about. Yeah. Well, until then, see you guys next time. Yeah. Bye. Make sure you subscribe, drop a comment. I should do better and all that. And then share this video if you actually found it insightful and all that. Alright. Bye.